All right, welcome to GenXDC. This is the place where we talk about all things Washington, D.C. from a Generation X perspective. I'm producer Spencer from the WGTS 91.9 morning show with Jerry and Blanca, and I'm joined, as always, by...
I'm Dan Lucoda. I'm the former morning show producer at WMAL Radio here in good old Washington, D.C. I did that from 1992 to 2002. So, yeah, just a few years doing that radio show.
That's right. Well, today, Dan, we are going to talk about Sears. Now, why are we going to talk about Sears? Well, our local Sears, the one in White Oak, the
Yes.
one that we grew up with, we found out it's closing.
It is. It's breaking our hearts. Oh, my goodness.
So it's the more we started talking about it, the more we saw, that had a lot to do with our lives growing up. I know
Absolutely.
myself that we're talking about the one that's, by the way, in White Oak on New Hampshire Avenue.
Hampshire and Route 29.
Right off Route 29. And I remember going there every year for our family pictures, for our family portraits.
Okay. Yeah.
So one year we'd go and, I was probably wearing polyester pants, the next year bell bottoms, and but I remember every year we had to go to Sears for those pictures.
And Sears, to its credit at the time, and now it's painted, I think it's a grayish white color, but underneath that paint is an actual brick that is red. But it's not like your typical red brick. No, it's got like a glaze to it, so it's shiny. So this building was this shiny, beautiful red, huge building, and it had these different entrances. And you'd step into this place. Now, I'm not a big shopper. To this day, I'm not like a big shopper. And I have two daughters, a lovely bride, and they've been known to drag me shopping but to go to Sears as a kid was an experience because there was different departments.
Yeah, it was like a city.
It was. And the biggest department, I think you and I are going to agree on this, was the toy department. Oh,
which at Sears was in the basement.
Yes. Yeah. And wasn't in the basement. Didn't they have like one side for girls' toys and one side for boys' toys?
I do kind of remember that.
I saw Pong for the first time at the Sears in White Oak. It's like mid to early, probably mid 70s in there. Oh, it was so wild to see this light go back and forth on his TV. Like, ooh, ah.
Right. So if you don't know what Pong is, basically it was like two rectangles going up and down, and you're just hitting the ball back and forth until you get it past the other person.
You had this paddle-ish kind of device that had a knob on it, and you were like, hey, hitting to your friend. But so that was one department of Sears. But we would go now. See, you went for the pictures. We would go to get back to school shopping, and it was
we did
three
that
of us
too.
boys. Yeah. It was three boys in our family. So it was Tough Skins all around.
Oh man, I remember Tough Skins.
And so
I wanted Levi's. No, gotta have Tough Skins.
You had to have Tough Skins, yeah. But we would go, and the three of us boys would, by the time, 20 minutes in the clothing department, we're glazed over, like, okay, we'll do something else. So Dad would take us down near the flower department. Again, another department, the flower department.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
was this cantina that had soft pretzels, hot dogs, and the world's most luscious root beer. It came out of this giant barrel, this 55-gallon wooden looking barrel, but it was a tap of root beer, Hires root beer. Oh, in a frosted mug with it was so good. So Dad would take us over there, and so we would just hang out eating hot dogs, pretzels, all the wonderful calories you could take in as a kid. We were ingesting there at Sears and White Oak.
So as much as I hated shopping, I loved if my mom had to shop somewhere close by the TVs, I was okay. Because I loved how they had all the TVs. I mean, and you could watch, they had, back then, of course, we didn't have that many channels, but, you could watch channel 9, 7, 4, whatever you wanted, the Baltimore channels at the same time.
Yes, yeah. That was pretty, well, did your parents do like mine did? Were they Kenmore fans? My parents,
I know we had Kenmore products.
We had Kenmore washer, Kenmore dryer, Kenmore refrigerator, Kenmore stove. And then in the 70s, I remember my dad buying a solid state stereo, a Kenmore solid state stereo, and it was like a giant piece of furniture from Sears in White Oak, and you had a turntable in there, an 8-track in there, and the radio in there, and so it was like just with the speakers.
That's what I was gonna say. And we got an 8-track stereo too from there.
It was so, but again, it was from Sears. Everything was the tools. We'd go and I still like the tool section at Sears. Well, it's not going to be there anymore. But the Craftsman tools, I'd be like, ooh, because my dad was, a contractor, so we'd be in there getting something, a saw or something. Like, oh, I love tools.
Right.
But yeah, so all right, what else in Sears? So we got the flower department. We got the clothing department. I hated the ladies' clothing department because I was like, Mom, I don't want.
Oh, that was the worst. That's when you just please get me out of here.
I used to like lay down in between like the
Yeah, no, I did that too.
Get up in the middle of all the clothes in a little circle thing.
I did all that too.
Hiding. Where are you, Daniel? And Mom called me Daniel. I knew I was in trouble. And then she threw in my middle name. I was really in trouble. And then she threw in my total name. I was done.
Well, I know with me, it was so much. It was so much our community. I had so many friends that worked up there, parents, and it was literally it had people from Adelphi, Silver Spring, all that whole area. So many people worked there at Sears. It was so cool. You went there and you knew the person in the TV section. You go to the next section, you'd know somebody there. It was always a good time up there.
And you saw your neighbors. I remember we'd see our neighbors in there, especially again, when I said we're going back to school, you'd see other kids from your class and from school in there getting close to you. Like you were commiserating, like, yeah, we're stuck in here getting close. Let's go to the cantina. I broke my heart when they painted the outside of it because I thought,
no, it was not the same. You're
why
right.
are you going to paint it? Because you're always going to have to paint it. You're going to have to maintain it. But that red, natural red,
it was iconic,
shiny brick to that it was just, it stood out. I was like,
absolutely. Well, the thing I liked about the outside of that particular Sears in White Oak, so the parking lot was gigantic.
Yes.
I mean, you had a giant there and some other things around there, but I mean, so much parking lot. I would go up there with my friends at midnight and we would play football, flag football in the parking lot. And that was just such great memories. You had Sears over here, you had Giant over here.
Yeah.
The police would come by and watch us sometimes.
There you go. Well, I've understood. My brother worked at the auto section.
My brother did too.
Auto department. This was back in the early 70s. My brother's
okay. For my brother, it was like the 90s.
My brother said that, and this is a quote from my brother Tim. So only can that Elvis came by in his limousine when he was doing a performance here in DC, and they all got to meet Elvis there at the Sears in White Oak. So I've heard celebrities have gone there.
Well, the reason that doesn't surprise me is my brother said Bill Cosby went up there. I guess his wife's mother or somebody lived in the area, somebody from their family, and needed work on the car and came over there.
And brother said they needed a battery in Elvis's limo.
Well, look, even celebrities need batteries.
Yes, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, we're losing another one of our iconic things we grew up with. Lido's went first, now Sears. Yep. I'm scared to think what's next.
Well, don't say that.
I hope nothing more. We're done. We're done with.
Well, I tell you what, there's another one that you didn't mention there, and maybe it's not for us on the elite things, but I know like our parents, it would have been Mrs. K's Toll House.
Oh, true.
My mom, she loved that place.
Yes.
And if you don't know, Mrs. K's Toll House was on Route 29 in Silver Spring. Yeah. And years ago, I guess it was the 1800s, it really was a toll house.
Yes.
And even in the early 1900s to mid 1900s, the presidents would come out. Some of the presidents, like I think Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, I think would take who knows if she took a horse and buggy or a car. I don't know what she would have taken at that time. Probably a car. Yeah, up the 29 and then went to Mrs. K's Toll House.
And the crazy thing was, like with DC, like Chevy Chase used to be the vacation homes for those that lived in DC, would come out
right
to get out of the heat and the humidity of DC. Like, okay, wait, that's like a 5-minute drive. You hit all the lights green. But that was
because and also right there you had Glen Echo there. Yep. Because they had the park there. Before we were born, they had it was really big park.
Very nice park there.
Yep. The carousel and all that I would always hear about.
Mrs. Toll's, that Mrs. K, Mrs. Toll's.
Mrs. K, great food.
It's just, it was a iconic. It's like, okay, so we've lost 3 things now.
Right.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
Well, you know what? We want to hear from you. We want to hear what some of your places growing up that you remember, like a Sears, like a Lido's, like a Mrs. K's Toll
Yeah.
House.
Yes.
Also, let us know what are we missing. And granted, we've pretty much stayed around the Prince George's County, Montgomery County area. If you're in Virginia, that was like another country growing up. When we were kids, when you went over that Potomac River, the American Legion Bridge, you were going to a different country for the most part.
And you used to go over top the American Legion Bridge, and there wasn't a whole lot over in Tyson's Corner. I mean,
Right.
Tyson's Corner.
Oh, it's so different. Absolutely.
So now you go over there and you're like, whoa, look at all this. So there's got to be some things there that disappeared and be absorbed up by all the building and what have you. So I'd love to hear from our Northern Virginia viewers. Give us what happens over there.
Absolutely.
What happened over there. Be very cool.
All right. Let us know.